Have you ever felt worried that you might have a friend that you can't necessarily trust? Got you, because in this video, we're talking about 7 signs to know that you in fact have a trustworthy friend. And you can use this as a test to determine whether the person you're friends with is actually trustworthy or not. And by the way, we should also use this test on ourselves. Okay, let's go. Welcome back to Accidentally Intentional, where we are on a mission to destroy loneliness by building rich, meaningful adult friendships. And we're talking about 7 signs to know if your friend is trustworthy, because trust means so much to everybody watching this video, okay? That's why you clicked on it. So first thing I would say to know if someone is trustworthy is they do what they say they're going to do. Now let's just pause for a second. How sad is it that this seems to be so rare? Finding someone who lives in such integrity that when they say they're going to be there at 6 p.m., they show up at 6 p.m. or does anything that they say they're going to do. If they say that they're going to swing by our house to drop off something, they actually do it. They don't forget, they make it a priority, they put in their calendar, they follow up. These are the type of friends we want. And so it's also important that if we're measuring if somebody else is someone who does what they say they're going to do, we need to first check ourselves and make sure we're that type of friend that's acting in integrity as well. So that's sign 1, someone who does what they say they're going to do. Sign number 2, they're consistent across the board, as in they don't have a mask, they don't chameleon or change depending on the group they're with. Okay, so here's an example. Let's say that you are friends with somebody and they act so sweet to you when you're alone, they care about you, like they want to hear about your life. And then the moment you're in a group setting, they're acting weird. They act like they don't know you, they don't really talk to you that much, they don't even acknowledge you're there, and you're like, I'm sorry, we literally just had a heart-to-heart the other day. What's happening right now? Yeah, that's confusing. That's a little bit of a red flag because they are not consistent across the board. And there's something to be said for people that feel like they have to fit in, which we all want to feel like we fit in to some degree, but changing innately who you are based on who you are around, I don't think is a good sign at all, because we should essentially be walking in integrity and be the same person no matter who we're talking to. Sign number 3, does this person treat everyone well and everyone equally? Oftentimes you can figure this out when you go to a restaurant with someone. You're having a great conversation, you both are being really kind to each other, then the server comes over, let's say the service was slow, server forgot something, something's late, and you see this person start getting an attitude and almost dehumanizing them in a way. Well, that's a walking red flag, because if they do it to a server, they'll do it to you, which means they'll do it to anybody, and they don't actually have equal respect for anybody at all unless that person first does something for them. So that's like a no-go. That is a sign of a not trustworthy friend at all. So again, someone who treats everyone equally and well is sign number 3 of a trustworthy friend. Okay, sign number 4, they genuinely care about you. Now, how do I know if someone genuinely cares about us? Well, this means that they truly listen to you to understand you. Now, I say this because this is where a lot of us get tricked up. There's a difference between listening to understand someone and listening to respond to someone as quick as possible. And it doesn't even need to be as quick as possible, but let's just say that you shared something that really was difficult that you went through or are currently going through right now. And instead of empathizing and saying something like, that's really hard, I'm so sorry that you're dealing with that, the person immediately responds with something like, oh my God, yeah, same. I'm struggling so much too. I can't even tell you what I had to do last week. It's just oh, I can't even. You're like, first off, did you hear me, or did you just want to vent about your problems? Because now I feel totally not seen, and definitely not like I can trust you with holding, my heart when I share anything with you. So that is something that I would definitely say to look out for as a sign for someone who is definitely not trustworthy, or definitely trustworthy if they're sitting there listening to understand you, asking you questions, to fully just acknowledge your experience. And I would also say, look out for somebody, along with this, somebody who gossips. Because gossip is overtly a way that people try and get attention. You might not even know that if you're gossiping, you're trying to get attention, but the truth is, that's what we're trying to do. We either feel like we have nothing to talk about on our own, so let's put the attention on someone or something else, but gossip is just awful all the way across the board. So if someone genuinely cares about you, they're not going to gossip about you, let alone around you or to you either. Okay, sign number 5. You feel relaxed around this person. I say this because our nervous system is pretty incredible, and it puts a GPS pin in experiences that can make us freak out or panic because they have seen or witnessed an experience that we've been part of where we didn't necessarily feel safe. Now, I'm not going to say across the board that this is one, because there's some people who've really been burned and betrayed by somebody else. And the very next person that they try and get to know, they have this fear of this person's going to do exactly the same thing. Now, you have that fear for good reason because it happened to you before, but the only way to overcome that fear is by throwing yourself right back into the lion's den of sorts and risking it all again. But I say all this because oftentimes, as you get to know somebody, it's very normal to feel more relaxed around them. Like, you don't need to be talking about really deep things all the time. You could just have fun, you can chill. But if every time you're with the person and you've gotten to know them a little bit and you still feel like, I don't feel like I should share something with them, I don't feel relaxed at all, I'm always tense, then take that sign seriously. Your body might be telling you something, and it's worth keeping tabs of. Can I be honest for a second? I want to get to know you. No, I'm serious, because this entire channel is devoted to teaching adults how to build rich, meaningful friendships, and I'm part of that category too. One of the worst parts about podcasting is that all you see is numbers, not names. But you're not a number, you are a name, and you're part of this community, and I want to get to know you. So would you do me the honor of clicking the link below in the description and filling out some basic info about yourself, name, email address, and answer a couple questions so that I can get to know the person behind the screen or behind the earbuds a little bit better? I'm going to be personally emailing every single person back because I want to foster this connection. And along with that, I'm also going to be emailing you my guide to my 15 favorite questions to ask to start a more meaningful conversation. So click that link below. I truly want to get to know you. Thank you so much for being part of this community. You are worth building incredibly rich friendships. Back to the show. Okay, another obvious sign to look out for if someone is trustworthy is they always tell the truth. This means that if you ask for feedback, for instance, they're going to tell you the truth. Hey, do you like this outfit? Honestly, I don't love this outfit on you. I actually like this one better. Something like that, you know? Hey, did I sound super weird, or did I act really awkward around that group of people? If the friend's like, honestly, I thought something was like up with you. I wasn't sure. Like, no, you weren't acting like yourself. What a gift is somebody that's actually truthful and honest, because that is how you deepen a connection, because you're not afraid to go into those waters with, of course, proverbially, with somebody else. But we have to be on the lookout for people that always tell the truth, which means also we need to be willing and open to always telling the truth. Yes, it feels uncomfortable sometimes, and that discomfort could be the very thing that saves, maintains, and builds the friendship that you've been looking for your entire life. Okay, this is a big one. Sign number 6. They hold themselves accountable and absolutely own up to and admit their wrongdoings. Okay, and I have a funny story about this, because I had someone tell me one time that they believe in self-accountability and they always hold themselves accountable. Meanwhile, I never heard the person forthrightly come forward and apologize for something on their own volition. Like, it would always need to be brought to their attention of, hey, you did this and it was hurtful. And even then they'd be like, why'd you get hurt by that? Oh, I was just kidding. That is not taking accountability, okay? Somebody who takes accountability is self-aware enough to know that they have limitations. And I would even say it like this. They're so forthcoming with their limitations that they'll actually share what they did wrong before somebody else did something wrong. So here's what you can look out for. Let's say that a friend is sharing with you that they just got hurt by someone else, and they start talking and you're realizing something else is going on that you didn't originally anticipate. They're like, yeah, honestly, this thing happened at work last week and my coworker did this to me. And I was just like, I was so pissed because I was doing nothing. I was doing nothing wrong. And all of a sudden they were coming at me and I got in trouble for it. You know, I'm obviously being super dramatic, but it's real. If somebody starts pointing to everything else and everybody else as the problem and themselves as the victim, and you're only hearing how they got hurt and not a single thing that they could have done wrong, that's a red flag. That's a red flag, because we all do things wrong to some degree. Any squabble or, confrontation or fight that happens is not one-sided. Everyone plays a role, even if it's 95% one person's fault and 5% their fault. We all play some role to some degree. So we want to look for friends who are not afraid to share, hey, here's my scars. Hey, here's what I've done wrong, and I want to be honest about it. So let's recap 7 signs to know if your friend is trustworthy. 1, they do what they say they're going to do. 2, they're consistent across the board and don't change based on who they are around. They treat everyone equally and well. They genuinely care about you, listen to understand you versus listen to respond. You feel relaxed around them. They always tell you the truth. And they always hold themselves accountable and are willing to own up to, admit wrongdoing, and of course, apologize in order to deepen the friendship. Let's be the trustworthy friends that we're hoping to find in our lives first and see what incredible things can happen. I believe that you are worth building incredibly rich friendships. So let's do this. I'll see you next time.